Okay, so I believe we're in math or French class or something. I can't remember where we left off. Okay, that'll do for today. Make sure to review the notes on the board, and we'll have a short quiz on them tomorrow. Au revoir. The domain. The sternness on his face unfaltering. The teacher, like your freaking father? Like, dude, he was, talk about stern, he was just kind of like the entire time. Like my grumpy face, except times a million, just, right? Okay, the teacher slides a redoubtable pile of books back into his bag, gives us a cursory parting wave, and marches out of the room to take his break. I lean back into my seat and stretch, trying to slow off the heavy blanket of boredom that has begun to fog up my consciousness. My notebook is spotless, save for a bunch of flowers I must have doodled at some point. If there was anything I cared about in the lesson, the end of class bell must have thoroughly washed it away already. French isn't my favorite French isn't my favorite subject. I know a fair bit from back home. Mom and Dad were fluent speakers, but while I can't really say that I'm awful at it, it's not something I relish studying. The teacher's monotonous droning didn't instill any burning passion to pay any heed either. How someone manages to make learning the language of love such a dreary affair, I will never know. I was never good at learning languages. Like, I remember how to say, the Viking explodes in Spanish, el Vikingo explodo, and, which is a really simple phrase. And in German, I mean... And so most of my classmates file immediately out of the classroom, like inmates freshly released from their scholastic prison, their collective chatter filling the air with a garbled mess of sounds. I think I see a few of them throw cautious glances back at me, their faces furrowed like they're actually considering whether to approach me or not. They soon elect to go for naught. They might have decided that I'm not worth the trouble. I know the feels. Fair enough, it's not as if I would know how to respond to them anyway. I decide to finally follow suit, collecting all my things and heading out of the room. I should probably get some food, at least if the slight rumble in my gut is any indication. I almost said inclination. As I turn into a corner, my eyes catch a familiar sight. Hey, it's the girl from my maths class. This wasn't in the demo. Her eyes are closed, which made me think she was sleeping until I figure out she was actually, albeit subtly, bobbing her head to something. Approaching, I finally notice the thin black cord that falls down from her ears. Are we actually going to get a choice? Oh. Music. Now that I've been reminded of her existence, I find myself in the same internal argument I had this morning. Should I continue my attempts at talking to her, or cut my losses while I'm ahead? This sounds like a time for Mr. Save game. My efforts to get her to speak back in math class weren't very fruitful, to say the least. Perhaps that Cacio was right. You can't reasonably expect to approach every new person the same way. She finally opens her eyes and finds me standing a short distance from her, transfixed as I'm debating myself for a course of action. That would be freaky, just... Wait, what? Why is that why did your mind, arrive at that as your first option for a question? What? She doesn't answer, of course, and instead just clutches her sleeves and shifts on her feet. Christ, think of something, Eric. Start with something inoffensive, something to put her at ease. Try to strike a common ground. Ask her about the weather? Hell no, that's about the most cliche thing I can spout. I've already asked her about music, but even that didn't do wonders for establishing a connection between us. Not that I know where to take the discussion on that, had it continued, seeing as I'm virtually musically illiterate. Getting more and more anxious by the second, she's now nervously crumpling. Dude, just fucking leave! She's now nervously crumpling in her hands what I recognize to be an empty vending machine sandwich wrapper. Okay, or you can do that. Blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. So what kind of sandwiches do you like? The girl's body stiffens as if flash frozen, and the whole universe screeches to a grinding halt as I realize what just tumbled out of my stupid mouth. That sounded much better in my head. The intention was to pull off something like what Katja did this morning, but all this does is make it crystal clear to me that, with handling social encounters, she's ahead by kilometers. No, light years. Light years she's ahead by... Wait, what? Okay, I think that's just a typo. Okay, I was racking my brain thinking, what the... Anyway, what little color in the girl's face drains out completely, biting so hard on her lips she could tear it right off. She looks like she'd sooner jump off a balcony than reciprocate my attempt at conversation. She blinks once, twice, as if she can't believe someone would just up and ask such a thing. Truth be told, I didn't expect I'd just up and ask such a thing. I scrambled to salvage my dignity. Oh, sorry, it's just that the vending machine sandwich, isn't it? I just thought. The sentence dissolves into nothingness unfinished. Her body's tense and rigid like a wooden mannequin, quivering ever so slightly, like I'm the villain in some gory slasher flick, and she's my latest unfortunate victim cornered at the end of a dark alley. A humiliating moment of silence trickles by until she lowers her head, a fringe of dark brown hair curtailing her eyes. Curtaining? Is that a word? Curtaining her eyes. Ha, that's a word. She stands up, turning her back on me. Feeling utterly defeated, all I could do is watch her as she awkwardly shuffles down the hall, her gait even stiffer than usual, almost as if her legs had just magically turned to bricks. I mentally slapped myself. You fucking should, dude. Like, seriously. What was I thinking? Jesus, Eric, you were never this socially inept. Apparently you are now. But what could I have said? What should I have said? I don't want to feel alone and excluded in this school, but that's very difficult to do when I don't have the flimsiest grasp on how I should handle the people here. I'm an astronaut who's just stumbled into a... No, okay, that's stretching it a bit, dude. They're still human beings, right? Flailing around like an idiot in low gravity just to convey to them that I've come in peace. Just thinking that leaves me a bitter aftertaste. God, it must sound so condescending right now. Yeah, you fucking do! Jesus. Deep breaths. It's the anxiety. My anxiety's getting the better of me once again. Hey. Here we go. I turn to the source of the sound, and sure enough, there it is. Fran, the guy from the first period, sitting behind me, clutching at his stomach and mouth, his body quivering so convulsively, I thought he was having a seizure. He's on the verge of falling over, trying to contain his giggling, before at last giving in and exploding into a laughing fit so loud, I swear it shook the whole building. What the actual hell was that about? I swear that has got to be the worst pickup line I've ever heard in my life. Hey, knock it off. He doesn't, at least not for a while. I think he laughed for a solid minute before even showing any intention of calming down. I was pretty sure he was a guy earlier, but now looking at them? Not quite so sure anymore. Their voice is too high-pitched to be identifiably masculine, but it also has a husky, raspy quality that wasn't quite feminine either. They have a tall, spindly build with facial features that tread precariously... They have a tall, spindly build with facial features that tread precariously on the line between mild and sharp that you can't tell whether you're supposed to call them pretty or handsome. You can call women handsome, can't you? I don't know. I'm not up and up on gender politics. All I know is that people have different pronouns. Just fucking ask them. It's not that big of a deal. Christ. They're also wearing a female student's jacket and cravat, but it's coupled with long black trousers. Whoa there, darling. No need to be so serious. Life's too short to go on living like that. But oh man. Christ on a bike, I needed that laugh. Glad to have served then. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Jeez, so glum. I have to give points to you, though. A lot of people give up on talking to her after the first try. She's a very skittish person. You don't say. So, are shy girls your type? The unexpected question hits me like it shouldn't have been unexpected, dude. I mean, just no. Hits me like a drop of a watchtower hitting a rundown Pinto on the streets of Baselstadt on a sultry Sunday morning. My face burns as hot as the resultant fire. What? I tried to stammer out an answer to shut them up, but my confusion and embarrassment only make their features curl into a thin, mischievous leer. I can see it in your eyes, clear as day, as open as a book. I've had years of training reading people's faces, you know. Well, you were reading wrong. I was just trying to start a conversation. What the hell's wrong with you? My frustration... Oh, that's good. My frustration leaks into my voice, causing the words to come off more harshly than intended. They fall dead silent, and the room temperature plunges into a nosedive. The bubbly smile drains out of their face, darkening into a cold, horrified stare that sends a twinge of panic up my spine. Should I not have said that? I should not have said that. Oh crap. Look, I didn't mean to. Before I could finish my sentence, they slapped me on the shoulder and burst into hyena-esque laughter again. Haha, gotcha! I groan. Well, isn't this quite the life I've gotten myself into? How's my acting? A thespian miracle worthy of Hollywood, huh? Huh? My face curdles into a grimace. I didn't find it nearly as amusing as they did. I decided against rewarding them with a response. That said, should I really even be engaging this person to begin with? The impish light in their eyes sends various warning sirens in my head, blaring at full volume. I turned away from them and began heading down the hallway without further comment. I could think of a few better ways to spend my afternoon than being mocked by a stranger. Hey, man, okay, I get it. No need to get all cranky now. I understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a total jerk, alright? Just a little bit of a jerk. Besides, you're too stuffy. You want to grow up to be like that French teacher dude or something? Sometimes you have to forgive a gentleman her amusements. Gentle what? Exactly! They snap their fingers and continue on as if the topic wasn't up for discussion in the first place. They extend a hand to me. So, I know we've been introduced earlier, but I'm Fran Dragovic, at your service. I'm more of a roast beef sandwich kind of person, but ham and beetroot will do the trick too. Is that the type you usually fall for? They will never let me live this down, will they? Nope. I'm Eric, but you know that already, right? When am I going to make a decision? Of course, not every day we get a new face around here, and a pretty one at that. Have you got any idea where you're going to eat dinner, Eric? I'm starving here. Cafeteria, some fancy-ass resto outside campus? Cook your own? Man, I wish I could cook my own food. School grub is very much hit or miss here. I raise my finger to answer, but retract it when I find I have no clue whatsoever. Also, did they just call me pretty? Just take the compliment, dude. As for the topic of dinner, that's actually a good question. Where indeed? I know for a fact I can't possibly live my life here subsisting on vending machine sandwiches. I don't know. I see, that's perfect, absolutely perfect. You gotta come with me. Simpering like a used car salesman who's just conned someone into a shady deal, Fran yanks me forward, pulling me after them with such force that I would have tripped on my numb leg had they not caught me by my other arm. Oh, sorry, love. You okay? Yeah, it's alright. It's nothing. Don't mind it. Fran raises an eyebrow, but they loosen their hold on me and decide against inquiring further with a nonchalant shrug. Right. After me, then. Where to? Fran simply begins humming a tune as they waltz down the hallway with me in tow. I try to object, but they flagrantly refuse to hear me out. I think of running off, but I figured I'd rather spare myself from another embarrassment. It's not like I can get very far away at any speed they can't beat. Needless to say, I have a bad feeling about this. Why? It's just a dude who has like a real... or dude, lady... Dude who looks like a... or wait. Dude looks like a lady! Yeah. Lady dude lady, who's, has a very irreverent sense of humor. I don't see the problem. And so voila, welcome to our destination. I scratched my head and sigh. All throughout the 5-minute walk, my mind was running with possibilities about all the places they could have led me, and absolutely none of them were good. Even provided that I was too anxious to put a foot inside this place earlier today, I guess it's still leagues better than what I had in mind. It's the cafeteria. Because of course it would be. What gave it away, Monsieur Poirot? What? Too many foreign words. What gave it away, Monsieur Poirot? The big sign saying St. Diphnal's cafeteria? You were thinking I was going to haul you off somewhere dangerous, weren't you? At the very least, it's not something reprehensible like a secret den for druggies or the ceremonial grounds of some underground satanic cult or a club for Japanese tentacle porn aficionados. 2 of those are really bad. One of them is not so great. It's not so bad. I'll let you figure out which one is which. Well, kind of. I mean, you don't exactly strike me as a rule-abiding student. And yet you followed. How naughty! You were thinking I was going to take you someplace with just the 2 of us, weren't you? Where we can, That I wasn't. Bah, you're no fun! Anyway, let's go get some grub already. With all luck, the girls might also be here. Girls? Who? Ignoring my question for around the 50th time now, Fran pulls me inside the cafeteria. Dude, I like Fran. He, she, whatever is, like, number 3 or number 4, I guess. Maybe. I don't know, at the very least, they seem like a really fun person to hang out with and, just have a good laugh with, right? The warm, inviting smell of food and fruit and the lively chatter of students greet me at the door. Fran stands on their toes and looks around the place, then waves and smiles at someone they seem to have recognized in one of the building's farthest corners. Fantastic, there's our seat. Well, let's get our food first. Deal? I nod and we join the queue in front of the counter. Curious, I try to search for whoever it is they were looking at, but the current of moving people obstructs my view. Quite thankfully so, the line moves pretty quickly, and soon enough we're each carrying a tray of food. Fruit slices, a glass of juice, and a plate of steaming paella. Whatever. A simple meal, but I've got to admit this looks infinitely more appetizing than I expected. My stomach rumbles in dissent. Fran takes the lead as we weave our way through the still-growing mass of people. We bump into a few students and probably even a teacher or two in her rush, but I'll be damned if Fran cared at all. Hello? Eventually, we end up at a booth at the far nook of the cafeteria. Fiddling with her phone. Oh, you can gather that from the freaking picture. Okay, awesome. I think she looked a bit tense when she lifted her eyes from her phone to acknowledge Fran, but nonetheless, she quietly and gracefully waves back and gestures for us to take our seats. Hello, love. What's cooking? I caught our newest victim today. Natalia, dear, meet Eric. Eric, meet Natalia, and all that. Victim? Hello. I'm new here. First day at school, in fact. Nice to meet you. I'm Fran's classmate. They invited me to have lunch here. I hope I'm not... Just ask him the freaking pronoun he or she prefers. God damn it, dude. Good afternoon, Mr. Eric. It is nice to meet you too. Welcome to the cafeteria. Welcome to cafeteria. The greeting, though said with a conspicuous Eastern European accent, which I cannot do. Oh, man. Dexter had a Eastern European accent, right? From Dexter's Laboratory. Let's see if I can embarrass myself a lot by trying that. Is otherwise delivered with lyrical finesse, with an air of uncrackable... Oh yeah, I can't do lyrical finesse, it's not happening. With an air of uncrackable composure so strikingly distinct from the hubbub of our immediate surroundings. Thanks, and no need to be so formal. Eric is fine. No, I can't do it. How so unlucky. I was hoping your name would be Peter. Would be what now? I'm sorry, Peter? She nods, brows knitted in rumination. It is wasted chance. Wasted chance, yes. Why? Great, first day here, and I run into not just one, but two tall, pretty blondes with a flair for the cryptic within a few hours of each other. Might as well buy a lottery ticket after this. Dude, Katja was awesome. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because if you were named Peter, I could say, hello, Peter. Welcome to cafeteria. Or not. Her prim, reserved smile breaks and turns into a goofy, childish giggle that shatters my first impression of her so hard I could hear the shards crashing in my mind. What the hell is going on? Haha, E.T.'s funny, yes? All I could afford her in my state of utter surprise was a blank, confused stare. That is the last thing I expected to hear from her. Nah, that sucked. 2 out of 10. Thank you, Fran. Aw. But Sonechka laughed when I told her yesterday. A little disappointed by the less than rave reception after a few seconds, she snaps her fingers, looking like she just remembered a subject she almost forgot to bring up. Right. More importantly, would you like croissant, Eric? Natalia quickly pushes her plate over to my side of the table. Oh yeah, her eyes almost sparkling as they lock onto me in expectation. What? I mean, thanks for the offer, but what for? Well, a gift to, remember our first meeting by, I guess? Are you really sure? Eric. Natalia's eyes flit furtively back and forth between me and the cafeteria counter. My concern and suspicion must have shown on my face since her smile cracks a little bit and her voice becomes tinged with urgency. No, please, I insist. I do this with all my new acquaintances. That, and now we are acquaintances too. So there. Also, can you please eat it right now, please? Like quick. If this is a hazing or something, it's a very... Dude, you have no fucking idea. It is a very strange one. Maybe I just really got myself into a sketchy cult after all. Right now? What? Natasha, what are you doing? A voice with a similar distinctive Russian accent, which I can't do, comes approaching from behind us. Yo, Sophia. I turn my head and find yet another blonde girl standing beside me. Quite a bit shorter and with far longer hair, but by no means any less pretty for it. Her arms are folded in front of her, drumming her fingers on her sleeve as she glares at Natalia with an exasperated look, the latter having nothing but a nervous smile for a reply. Hello, sis. You promised me you're to eat better now, right? Yes, but Mom and Dad would worry if they hear you skip meals again. Surely you do not want that. Yeah. So, Natalia has something like... Is anorexia classified? I mean, anorexia is an eating disorder, yes, but is it actually, like, technically a mental disorder, or not? Or maybe, I mean, you know, not eating is symptomatic of other mental disorders anyway, so what does it really matter? I don't know. Of course not. I'm very sorry. Natalia's sister sighs in dismay, her gaze shifting to Fran. The latter puts up their hands in defense. Hey, don't blame me. I was going to stop him, but Eric accepted it after all, so it's totally on him. I love Fran. Hey, no passing the buck, asshole. Well, I guess I did almost accept it, but still. The sister's features begin to soften from annoyance to apology as she acknowledges my presence with a nod, and sets her food tray across from me, taking her seat beside Natalia. I lay down the croissant and sandwich on the table and clear my throat. Oh, the mister. I'm hoping my sister was not much trouble for you? Oh, no, not at all. I'm sorry, is there a problem? Well, how do you say it? Natasha should not really skip meals right now. It is what the doctor tells us. Ah! As expected of a smooth, suave guy like myself, I immediately draw a blank the size of Jupiter as to where to take the conversation from that bit of information. I love how self-aware he is. Thankfully, Sophia takes charge quickly enough, reaching out for a handshake with an airy but perfectly unruffled smile. Does drinking more liquor help hiccups? But I'm being rude, no? My name is Sofia Volkova, Natalia's sister. It is glad to meet you. Your name is? Eric Wilhelm. Nice to meet you too. We're twins, Eric. Yeah, well, I sort of figured. Let us eat now, shall we? Natalia, you should eat. Natalia gingerly pulls back her croissant and sets to work, daintily slicing it with her knife into small pieces, nibbling on each cut much like a little hamster. Do you want some fruit too, Natasha? Ah, thanks, alright. It doesn't seem like it's alright, but she takes a few slices of apples and tangerines from Sophia's tray. So you are the new student Fran yesterday said to transfer in his class, I assume? Yeah, that would be me, most likely. Strange. How Fran got a hold of info about my move here before I even arrived, I'll never know. Are they in cahoots with Irene? Seems kinda likely. Their personalities are quite similar. Yeah, they're both awesome! I'm not a student here myself, but I visit Natasha often to make sure she is doing well. Will it be hard for Natasha to adjust here, you think? I still don't know about that. I've only arrived here myself. Oh, is that so? That is interesting. You two are in the same boat, then. Swallowing her food, Natalia arranges her features into a smile and rejoins the conversation, nodding enthusiastically to confirm Sophia's statement. It is very difficult to make many new friends here, especially since we're new. I tried to go lunch with some of my classmates a few days ago, but, well, they're plenty nice and friendly, but when I'm with them, how do you say it? I kind of feel like square hole entering round peg? Other way around. Peg, round, entering hole, square? Sophia's palm meets her face, swift as lightning. Have you ever seen that image that's like three guys in a row and the one dude in front like face palms and his arm goes through all three dudes? It's hilarious. Anyway. But yes, horrible jokes aside, Natalia is right. It is our first time out of Russia, and we're still ways to go for learning English, and we do not speak German at all. Just fitting in is very insanely difficult, making new friends much, much more. Huh. Now there's a kindred spirit. In fact, that's exactly what has been bugging me all day, isn't it? Many of the students here have already had years to get to know each other, hundreds of thousands of moments worth of experiences shared, and as a result have formed their little tight-knit groups, like humans do in normal high schools, right? Newcomers like us suddenly appearing and forcing ourselves on them would be like dropping a raw ingredient into an already cooked dish. We'll never really belong. From that particular point of view, it's really sad. And that is exactly why we newcomers need to support each other. to support for each other, right? I forgot. They speak kind of broken English. Right? Sure. Exactly. Eric understands. So we should be friends, okay? We can be friends, right? We can hang out at lunch here, talk about things, and even share jokes. I practiced lots of jokes before going here. Want to hear one? Want to hear one? Somehow her deep emerald eyes piercing my very soul are telling me that she's going to make me hear the joke anyway. Consequences be damned. Shoot. Her face lights up, reminding me of a kid pressing her nose on a shop window looking at the shiny new toy on display. Okay, here goes. Get ready. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Right? Oh. And just like that, her exhilaration vanishes like a popped balloon. She puffs her cheeks out of noise and fixes me with the dourest glare she can muster. That's adorable. Oh my god. It's supposed to be intimidating, I think, but the downright affectedness of the gesture elicits less of abject dread from me and more of an amused chuckle. But I should be the one giving out punchline, Eric. That is how joke works. Sorry, but it's a really, really old joke, you know? It's probably one of the first jokes I heard in English, even. Don't mind Natasha, Eric. She likes to think she's witty. It helps with her improvement of English, she says. But it is funny. That's not as bad as a joke as her. It's not as bad as her joke last week about giraffes and Rasputin, so maybe we shouldn't be too hard on her. That is true, Sonechka. It is your fault for not recognizing good joke. You should not be so hard on me. Soft instead. Because her name is Softia. On the other hand, we should not encourage this sort of behavior. Anyway, Eric, what of you? You have joke of your own? Why, me? I don't know. Come on, don't be a buzzkill now, darling. Do be proud. Surely you've brought along some of that authentic Swiss humor to share with us. Not exactly. The only things I brought here with me in Vienna are crippling anxieties, existential fears, and Mum's totally uncool knitted sweaters. Even so, I racked my brain to recall any jokes I could. The first thing that comes up is when I heard Gustav telling Beatrice over breakfast a few years ago. Let's see. Well, what did the cheese say when it saw itself in the mirror? Yes, what? Halloumi. As expected, for the first few seconds, the joke is received with only lukewarm, polite smiles from Fran and Sophia. Just because my life right now feels like a really shitty joke didn't make me any more of a comedian. Thankfully, I'm saved from further humiliation by Natalia, spontaneously bursting into laughter. Is there anything that doesn't immediately send this girl blasting off to Cloud 9? At first blush, you'd surely peg her as someone graceful and elegant, and that's what I thought for sure. Looking at her now, though, she seems less like a regal young lady and more like a kid going uptown for the first time. Sophia, on the other hand, just shakes her head. Being sisters, she's probably had years of experience with this. It's not that funny, you know. Haha, no it is not! You are not good teller of jokes, Eric. Hey, look who's speaking! But you did your best. Aw, that's sweet. She smiles the smile a mother gives her child to encourage him after he had just horribly messed up a test. It only serves to make me more disappointed in my admittedly terrible joke-cracking abilities. If it is fun to ask, where are you from, Eric? Finally, a line of conversation I can get behind. I'm from Switzerland. Baselstadt, to be exact. Pretty nice place, I guess, and where in Russia are you guys from? St. Petersburg, yes. But I think it should be called St. Petersburg, you know, like iceberg? Because very cold. How's your opinion of Vienna so far, Eric? I've yet to see much of the city, but I'm sure my sisters will take me sightseeing around the city soon. From what I've seen so far, it looks very nice, very lively. It's very nice. We're thinking it's an amazing place also. The food is also very good. I'm looking forward to try cooking some of the new dishes I saw here. Oh, you're into cooking? Just a little bit. There's a glint of pride in her eyes as she says that, so I'll be assuming that her interest, and most likely her experience and skill, in the field is not actually limited to just a little bit. You should bring some of your food here sometime, Sonechka. Whatever. It's very good. Sonechka's food can send people to heaven, Eric. Miss Flan. Are you saying my cooking is lethal? The affected offense in Sophia's tone flusters Natalia, who, realizing the implications of her previous statement, hurriedly and panically stutters out an apology. What? Yes, that's not what I meant. It's really delicious. Okay, so I'm trying the Russian accent. Let's see how it goes. Her embarrassment and subsequent clumsy apology make Sophia and Fran laugh, and even I soon join in. The rest of the lunch goes on pleasantly, as we regale each other with stories of our hometowns and our impressions of Vienna and the school, with Natalia interjecting with the occasional lame joke. I begin to lose track of the time, with only the ringing bell to remind me that lunch break has wound to a close. Wait, it's lunch? I thought we had lunch earlier, and that was when Katja came in. Ah, there's the bell. We should be going, yes, Natasha? You might miss remedial class. Aw. See you then, Miss Fran, Eric. Fran's a boy, silly. Huh? What are you talking about, Sonichka? Miss Fran is Miss Fran. Fran's a boy. A girl. Boy. But that is not right. Tell Sonechka she's wrong, Miss Fran. Fran merely smiles at this little argument, very much entertained. Of course she would. I throw them an inquisitive glance. I've been asking myself that question this whole afternoon, but they haven't really shown any evidence to confirm or disprove either case. I don't know. Depends on the weather. You get to be off now and tell Mr. Zhang I said hi. Put like that, it doesn't really seem they'll be telling us anytime soon. The fox-like grin on their face tells me they're savoring every last drop of our utter bewilderment. Well then, see you later, Sophia, Natalia. Das Vidania, Eric. It is very nice meeting you. We give them a wave as we go. Fran turns to me with a wide smile. Now that wasn't too bad, was it? You got new friends! Well, you guys should be out there exploring instead of moping around like a dummy or something, sweetheart. You're going to spend nearly a year here wasting all that time, and the dumps might kill you. Yep, dead as a fly in a cup of morning joe. You don't have to speak to me like I'm a child or something. And stop calling me sweetheart. Roger, honeycakes. But yeah, you're right. I guess they're not bad at all. The answer visibly pleases Fran. Uh-huh, that's the news I want to hear. They pat my back and give me a devious smile. I see you're still a bit jittery, but don't you worry about a thing, Eric Wilhelm. Trust me, I have a feeling we're gonna have a grand time together. That may or may not be so, but my only hope right now is that I come out of this still alive afterward. The sun's already about to set by the time Fran got bored of the cafeteria and dragged me back outside. As if the ruthless teasing right after French class wasn't... Oh my god, I cannot talk at all! Thank god I'm recording this as a video. Am I recording this as a video? Yes, I am recording this as a video. Amazing. What was I doing? I'm looking at OBS right now. And look at my stupid fucking face. I'm like, who is that ugly motherfucker? As if the ruthless teasing right after French class wasn't enough, Fran continues pressing at my comfort levels with conversation. It started as a simple back and forth about ourselves and somehow meandered into an anecdote about losing virginities. Because of course it would. So then I decided if it's going to happen at all, then it needs to be before vacation ends and I have to go back to Vienna. Uh-huh. So me and my best friend at the time, we went around our neighborhood, hitting up every boy we knew. And you wouldn't believe what happened. I have a feeling you're going to tell me. They all got scared. One boy couldn't even make up his mind. Asked for some time to gather up his nerves. I mean, really, with two babes, who in their right mind wouldn't want to? A grin and a flutter of their eyebrows demand an answer. Fran seems to like putting people on the spot. Either I'm disgusted or envious of all their childhood friends they propositioned. Either way, they get a laugh at my expense. Only an imbecile. My correct answer gets me a quick chuckle. At least I didn't go far enough as saying, gee, I wish I knew you back then. I'm not sure I'd be able to handle the consequences. Or would you? So then what happened? Oh, shit! Holy fuck! Oh, shit! Excuse me, I gotta go die. My friend and I decided to take care of things ourselves. Oh. Ellipses. Oh. Fred snorts. That was the reaction they were hoping for. So what about you? Well, wait, how long have you been here for again? Oh, no you don't. Don't tell me you're still some kissless virgin at this age. Sorry, I'd like to keep myself mysterious for now. Yep, sounds like something a kissless virgin would say. I don't reward them with a reply, knowing anything I can, I say can and will be used against me. The conversation changes direction 3 or 4 times as our seemingly aimless stroll progresses, going from mopeds to mobile phones to permanent markers. What? Nobody knows. I may look like I'm following Fran like a lost puppy, but really it's the other way around. They found a shiny new thing from outside and they're going to get their playtime in while it's still interesting. I do feel fortunate, though. Making friends can't be easy here, and it wouldn't surprise me if students here tend to avoid making lasting connections. Dude, Fran is a really fun person to hang out with, okay? Like, I mean, yeah, he's trolly and, likes to tease, but, like, I mean, obviously he's not a bad guy, bad girl, bad whatever, Just freaking... Just humor him, her, whatever, While I'm on a roll, I should try getting to know more people. Someone as energetic as Fran probably gets bored easily, and I'm not totally sure I can survive any more of Natalia's puns or Irene's whatever you call that. Hey, so how often do they collect homework again? It depends. I usually just copy down the answers when we review them in class. Ah, Eric, there you are. I see Miss Clace walking up to us, a pile of books under her arm. She tries for a congenial smile, but I think a passing expression of concern flits across her face when she recognizes my companion. Oh, speaking of which, since I'm recording this as a video and not streaming it, I'm turning mature content on. Hell fucking yeah! Yeah, I'll see you later. You too, Fran. Fran tenses up for a moment, takes in a breath, and relaxes their posture in preparation for having to talk their way out of a situation. I get the feeling they exercise this skill often. Mr. Wilhelm, I'm pleased to see that you've made friends so quickly. Given her tone, I'm expecting a but. Thank you? Of course, we're always glad to see our students adjusting well, but it's important you understand the unique circumstances many of your peers face. There's something canned about this line, considering something well rehearsed in its delivery. I'm sorry? Miss Clay sighs, then continues with a bit more sincerity. No, I'm the one at fault here. This conversation is something I normally cover prior to the start of the school year. It's easy to forget that some students don't respond well to social pressure. Some don't respond at all. Although we'd like them to see these students learn to function in a typical environment, it's not something you can force on them. She's saying you don't need to handle people here with kid gloves. Miss Clace gives Fran a disapproving glance before turning her eyes back to me. I love Fran. It would totally be my bro in real life. In a sentence, yes. On that subject, Fran, you could afford to educate your peers on this rather than make a spectacle of it. Miss Kohler had heard of it from your classmates, and he was very disappointed in your behavior. I'm sorry, Miss Clays. I assure you it is entirely out of my control this time. I'm sorry, I'm not certain I follow. Am I not supposed to be talking to people? Of course not. Wait, what? Am I not supposed to be? Of course not. Yes. All I'm saying is to use a little more caution with how you approach people. A few minor observations can go a very long way, and you can always ask your new friends about how to best handle these things. With her arms crossed, her gaze glides back to Fran. Can I trust you with that? Fran's smile was disconcertingly well crafted. Of course! Miss Claes' expression tells me she's no more convinced than I am, but apparently it was as far as she was willing to pursue the topic. In any case, you mean well, so I'm sure you'll find a balance soon enough. With all that out of the way, there's still a few items left to address. Have you been issued a student ID yet? No. You will need to be photographed then. Is it mandatory? No, but it is helpful to have some photographic record should something unfortunate happen. I wonder if that unfortunate something she's talking about is finding me face down in the Danube, or what they put on wanted posters at the borders. I go to the front office for that? The school newspaper can take care of you. Room 160. Miss Clays turns her glare towards Fran. Fran, you are still a member of the newspaper club, are you not? Hey, best girl coming up, hell yeah. Yes, ma'am, how can I be of service? It would be appreciated if you could see to it that Mr. Wilhelm makes his way there safely. Fran snaps their heels together and does a pantomime of a salute with the back of their hand smacking their forehead. That will be done. I love Fran. Apparently he/she doesn't have a route either, which is really unfortunate. I mean, if anything, it'd be a real surprise at the end, regardless of what happened. You know, just, hey, hello, and then you just be like, hey, you know what? Don't knock until you try it. We exit briskly as though our teacher would give chase. Friend or not, I'm glad I have someone showing me how to get where I'm going. Everyone else already knows their way around, and being the new guy, I'll be at a disadvantage for a while. So, you're in the school newspaper? I wear many hats, darling. Wait, isn't that it there? Oh, we're really going there? I suppose if you have to. The room that the newspaper club uses doesn't look like it's used for regular lessons. Up against the walls are shelves stocked with tubs of crusty art supplies, posters that have faded to blue over time, and a row of computer terminals. In the center of the room is a cluster of tables littered with notebooks and pencils. The disorganization adds flavor to a school that seems too stately for its own good, a breath of fresh air against the Stepford-level neatness of the other rooms. Aside from Fran and myself, I see only 3 students here, and they don't look like they want to be disturbed. Best girl coming up, best girl coming up! At one of the computers is whom I assume to be the teacher in charge. She looks to be about my sister's age and smells of strawberries. What? Why the fuck would you know that? Was that in the demo? I don't remember that being in the demo. You fucking smell her? Like, what, do you just go up to her and start, like sniffing her? Like, what are you, a fucking weirdo? Probably not an appropriate thing to ask somebody that's going to the school. I really don't know what you did here. Are you sure you didn't mess with the settings? A muffled response from somewhere in the room denies responsibility. Best girl! Well, save your work and try another computer later. I'll get IT to look at it this weekend. The woman shoves the troublesome keyboard away, having decided to make the computer into someone else's problem. As one always does, who's not part of IT. Oh, sorry, I was just in the middle of something. How can I help? Special delivery! Oh, you wrote something? Well, no, writer's block and all, but I do have something just as good, a new student. Oh, you must be Eric, am I right? I've read your file from Miss Claes' class, right? My legend precedes me, apparently. I'm Hertha Wieck. Wieck. And this here is the newspaper and publication club. Are you interested in joining? Maybe, but I'm told this is where I can get my photo taken. Of course, we do both ID and yearbook pics. Would you like to do both today? Yearbook too. I figured that I missed the chance to be in this year's edition. Yeah, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Great, I'll see if Lena can help you out. Best fucking girl! Fran suddenly checks her phone to see if they have an excuse to leave, and they pretend to have found one. Well, love, that's my cue to go. Fran hastily scribbles down a number on a scrap of paper nearby and tosses it to me. Text me if you need rescue. Well, okay. It's strange to see Fran take off so abruptly after clinging to me most of the afternoon. Either they just hit their boredom threshold or something got them spooked. I look around to see if any of the other students are Lena, but Miss Wieck isn't heading over to talk to any of them. Instead, she turns to a desk just beyond a line of cabinets and addresses a spindly pair of booted legs sticking out from under the desk. Lena, we have a new student here. Would you take care of him, please? Lena's legs lay motionless for a moment, pretending to have not heard Miss Wieck. They eventually stir to life when it becomes clear that I'm not going away. Best fucking girl! Hell yeah! Her joints pop and crack as she unfolds into a standing position. Dude, listen to this fucking theme music. Fuck it, I'm shit up it. Dude, that's like the best freaking theme music ever. Even Rin's theme from Kato Shoujo isn't that good. What the fuck is up with that? Lena's arms swing around to stretch, and her head lazily circles around as if to make sure it's attached correctly. Lena's almost as tall as I am, built with long legs and a skinny, nearly flat torso. If it wasn't for her name, I probably would have mistaken her for a boy. Also the skirt. Looks like she works out as well, based on her tan and broad shoulders. And then there's that mask. It's a fitted metal device with a small opening for her mouth, but not a whole lot of room for much else. I'm trying really hard not to stare at the mask, but I can't help it. Is it protective gear for something she was doing inside the cabinet? No, I don't see any sort of filtering element, and the mask looks as bespoke as it does functional. Maybe it's a mouthguard for some sport, like ice hockey or boxing? Maybe she just rules a lot. Or maybe she bites. She shakes the drowsiness out of her system and locks her piercing green eyes at me. Hi, I'm Eric. She snorts. So I've heard. I just started today. She gives me a quick once-over, assessing my new student status. Sprichst du Deutsch? Unpau. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't fucking know. Lena's brow crinkles and she sighs. Well, I thought it was funny. Was that French? Yeah, because, I mean, like, I don't even know what? Screw it. She picks up a folder stuffed with loose papers off the counter and hands it to me. I want the English ones translated into German, and the German ones translated into English. And the French ones in the trash. Actually, Eric is here to get his photos taken. Don't do it. The cameras here will steal your soul. We'd get that fixed, but the warranties are expired. She is fucking best girl, I swear to God. I would greatly appreciate it if you could help me with that while I sort out the mess with the computers. Okay, but it will cost you dearly. The two of us go over to Miss Veek's desk and Lena drags out one of those stands that hold up projector screens. She draws down a bland-looking backdrop with a mottled blue and white cloudy pattern. I take my place in front of the background and Lena shoves me around by the shoulders before screwing a rather beat-up-looking camera onto an equally worn-looking tripod. Time check. 8:11 p.m. I'm gonna have to edit this so much. Jesus Christ, why am I coughing so much? Okay, first up is your student ID, your ID card. Say whiskey. Whiskey! And now for the yearbook. Oh, no, you can do better than that. Is there something wrong? Obviously, nobody ever uses that backdrop for their good photos. Do you really want the most important photos of your life having you look like a square? Is that really the terminology that a teacher would use in this school? Well, I don't mind. Miss Veek wrestles an old yearbook out of a tightly packaged bookshelf and cracks the stiff, seldom-turned pages open on the desk in front of me. Here, most people opt for casual photos. Actually, most people opt out entirely. I did. Shush. Your picture is included this year. Over my objections and without my consent. My dad is a lawyer and he'll have your head for this violation of my civil rights. Your father purchased a yearbook along with school portraits, and that's what he's going to get. He wants to see how lovely his offspring has become, and last I checked, he was an architect. Indeed, the majority of yearbook photos appear to have been taken at various outdoor locations around the school, with the students out of uniform. A few do pose in front of the backdrop, but they make up for the blandness with some special outfit like an athletic uniform or academic medals. I would have been the plainest photo in the book. See? Now don't these look better? Flipping along, I find a plain page near the end with scores of faceless names crammed into sections by year. The print is so small that it's clear that the need for saving printing costs outweigh the... hey, let me do that again. Flipping along, I find a plain page near the end with scores of faceless names crammed into sections by year. The print is so small that it is clear that the need for saving printing costs outweighed the desire to have a dozen pages dedicated to students who were unable or unwilling to show up for picture day. So how about you two go off somewhere nice for Eric's picture? Who knows, you might even find a friend. Actually, the school pharmacist says I don't need friends on my prescription anymore. It turns out they give me a rash. Ms. Veek dismisses Lena's rebuff of any future association between us and hands her an expensive-looking camera from inside her locked desk. My picture is apparently a special occasion that warrants the use of the good camera, and not one of the heaps off the shelf. Should I change? I ask, seeing that most of the examples I was shown were out of uniform. I would appreciate that. Everyone knows what the uniform looks like, so there's no need to remind everyone with every single portrait. Miss Veek turns her attention to Lena. Best girl. Make sure he puts on something nice, okay? I'll just meet you in the courtyard in 20. Lena dismisses herself, giving me an opportunity to size up the situation here. I fucking love Lena. Oh my god, she is my freaking spirit animal. Miss Veek? Please call me Hertha. So, the school newspaper. Would you like to know more? Yeah, I'm curious about what kind of activities I could do once I get settled in here. Well, we'd love you to have you around, so long as it doesn't interfere with your studies. As far as clubs go, we're actually pretty flexible. Miss V groans as that one last student leaves. She falls back into her chair and cracks her knuckles. What is up with your freaking outfit, by the way? If I'm in the way, I could go now. Oh, it's nothing. Honest. Just a busy day. Relax. Miss Veek follows her own instructions and plucks a slick little electronic cigarette out from her shirt pocket. Does she have pockets? Oh shit. She glances over to make sure Marco closed the door behind him and starts puffing thick strawberry-scented vapor. Do you smoke? No, ma'am. Good. No smoking allowed indoors. So you're thinking of joining the club. Have you ever been on a school newspaper or publishing committee? No, but I had friends who worked on the yearbook at my old school. They seemed to have a good time. It is pretty fun. We publish once a month now, so you can work almost at your own pace. We used to do a newspaper every other week, but it didn't always work out because of everyone's personal schedules. Do you enjoy writing? I'd be lying if I said it was a hobby of mine, but I usually do pretty well on compositions and essays. If you want to be extra useful, it helps if you can write pretty well in both English and German. Well, I'm sure Lena told you that. In a way. Otherwise, take on assignments you can do and submit them when you can. Do you like photography? Well, my phone does have a camera. Funny. Are you good with the computers? I'm not here to fix them, if that's what you're asking. Miss V laughs, having just been reminded of the club's technical difficulties. Our publishing software is pretty easy. Lena will show you how to use it. Yes. Speaking of which, don't you have a photo shoot to attend to? Alright, thanks, I'll be back. Next meeting is officially the day after tomorrow, but there's usually someone here after classes every day. I wave goodbye and head back to my room so I could change. By now, the halls around the classrooms are empty enough that I can't help but feel like some staff member will come by and shoo me away from being somewhere I don't belong. Am I really going to join the school newspaper? I feel like I don't quite have a whole picture of how it is. One moment it looks like Miss V could barely manage the club, the next moment it seems that a comparatively sloppy and casual operation is exactly how she wants it. At the very least, watching her and Lena interact could provide me with some entertainment. Fran doesn't seem to want to stick around, if they are in fact a member. Maybe she's got a grudge against Lena. Threesome? Maybe they used to date. Dude, I'd be up for a threesome with frickin' Fran and Lena, because the thing about that is, like, you know, regardless of what Fran's packing, you know, there's still Lena there. Wow, that's that's probably one of the most horrible things I've ever said in my life. Wow. I'm so glad I'm not doing this on stream. I'm stewing under my coat after basically running here. Or at least attempting to. Fanning my lapels doesn't disperse the cloud of sweat. I try taking it off altogether, but someone is tugging at my sleeves from behind. You're all wrinkly. I don't have an iron. She's still wearing the mask. It would seem to be a permanent fixture on her face as opposed to something she was using just at the newspaper club. Here's a tip. You can get by without an iron if you put your clothes between your mattress and box spring the night before. Be careful with the collar, though. Thanks for the tip. Shall we get started? Where should I go? I just noticed that she's wearing the same, like, sweatshirt type deal as the socially awkward lady? I'm not sure yet. I find a stately spot by one of the building's columns and stand by it. How about here? You really want to have a picture next to a pile of crumbling bricks and tiles? Well, just follow me. The lighting isn't that good here. I feel pretty bad for Lena. She didn't even want to do this, but now she's stuck going up and down campus with me looking for the perfect location for a couple photos. I'm not even that passionate about having a good photo either. I didn't even think I would be in the yearbook at all. So, Lena, where are you from? Huh, no. Where are you? Good idea. Making small talk keeps your brain occupied and less susceptible to electromagnetic mind control. Are you serious? I figured my idea was better. What idea would that be? That jokes would work better on an awkward silence than asking me about little things. That wasn't funny. Yes, it was. What the fuck are you talking about? Not unfunny in an offensive way, but in a completely lacking in humor way. Dude, she's hilarious. What are you talking about? Best girl, fucking best girl. Oh. What's your favorite mental disorder? What kind of question is that? I guess what's the one that makes people swear a lot? Tourette's can do that. So can a frontal lobotomy, though. Why do you ask? I used to ask people what they were in here for, but apparently that's insensitive. So I ask what their favorite disorder is. They usually pick something interesting, like multiple personalities, when their actual thing is like agoraphobia or something generic. Mental illnesses aren't like cars or flavors of ice cream. I don't think any well-adjusted person would have one readily picked out. For me, it's probably amnesia. It's pretty versatile. Alright then. Well, what are you here for? What are you here for? Lena snickers. Not amnesia. So, do you have a regular therapist? I'm going to see Dr. Faber pretty soon. Ooh, yikes. What's that supposed to mean? Well, only the really messed up kids have Dr. Faber as their therapist, you know. He specializes in all sorts of freaky crap. Obscure phobias, voyeurism, Ganser syndrome, etc. Basically, he's their last hope before they're sent somewhere else. I'm not sure if Lena's trying to intentionally freak me out, yes. Or if she's always this blunt. No, dude, she's just like Fran, except even more out there, which makes her best girl, by default. I was always under the impression that I'd only be seeing Dr. Faber a couple times before being... Okay. Let's try that again. I was always under the impression that I'd only be seeing Dr. Faber a couple times before being assigned to someone else, or something like that. But for the whole year? Maybe it's because I'm new? I mean, I don't think I'm really worth this constant Wait, stop. What? Right there. Hold still. It takes a moment to register in my mind what she's doing. Lena puts down her bag, holds up what looks like a sheet of cardstock with aluminum foil taped on, and shines a beam of sunlight into my face. Okay, done. Can I move now? Yeah. Maybe a little warning next time? People don't look their best when they're too prepared. They're always at least a little phony. I think it looks good. Lena crams away her homemade reflector and shoves the screen on the back of her camera into my face. I can barely see the screen since Lena's reflector burned holes into my retinas. There. I look somewhat less pained than I do in my school ID photo. Maybe catching me off guard helped me look natural. Anyway, I doubt we could do any better if we try again. It's good enough for me, thanks. Yep. So, are we done here? I guess. Are you going to the next meeting? I probably will if my schedule permits. When's that again? No clue. Right. What's it like being in the club anyway? I guess it's alright. What are the other members like? No stranger than the company you already keep. I assume she means Fran. Do you have some history with Fran? They ditched me at the club room as soon as they could. They know not to mess with me, but aside from that, no. Fran used to date one of the members, so they act like they're a full-time member, even though nothing they do gets published. Oh, so if I join, what kind of stuff would I be doing? Probably cleaning. It gets messier than you think. Does blood make you squeamish? Only if it's mine. Great. Are you busy this afternoon? The sudden topic change almost knocks me off my feet. I haven't got anything planned, no. Perfect, let's get going. As it turns out, Lena would rather have me trained up sooner rather than later. The other students in this club must shirk off their work a lot if she's this eager to recruit. So, what do you think? After looking through a pile of past newspapers, I say it looks doable. An activity here, an informal survey there. The school newspaper looks like a good balance between challenge and enjoyability. Most importantly, it looks like a chance to keep active. Meet people, go into town, maybe travel when the choir goes on competition or something. Maybe if I go and join the outside world, I'll find a place to belong, even if that place is be nowhere in particular. I think I can do this. That's great. Just remember that your health and your studies come first. If you find yourself overwhelmed, nobody will be offended if you lay off club participation. Well, thanks, Miss Veek. Again, my name is Hertha. Right. So tell me about your hometown. I was thinking of visiting Basel yesterday. Someday? What? It's old for the sake of being old. She chuckles. I can tell you and Lena will get along just fine. Hell fucking yes! We'll see about that. Did she bite someone? What? What have you heard? Before I can manage to even form a response, her lips curl and she breaks into a hearty laugh. No, she hasn't. She's had a difficult time in the past, but she had a breakthrough over the summer. But if she does bite, notify security immediately so they can take her out behind the barn and put her down. Thinking she had offended me, this meek pauses and swallows up whatever else she was going to say. I wonder if her mouth had gotten her in trouble before. It must happen a lot to younger teachers here. Okay, I'll stop wasting your time. I'm sure you've got lots of homework to catch up on. I'll see you soon. Maybe if you're lucky. Bam! I see you around, kiddo. And don't let Edna bother you too much. And don't call her Edna. It's Miss Claes if she can hear it. Okay. Whatever. Dude, Lena is freaking best girl, and Miss Vice is, Vice? What? Whatever her name is pretty awesome as well. Hertha! I'm a little relieved to have all that school photo business taken care of. My first day of class wasn't unpleasant, but I feel like it's taken forever, and I'm happy to get it over with. Seeing that this was the first day of class, I've got to ask myself, can I survive like this? I have no idea. But it's not like I have any choice. Oh well. Home was a spotty mess of trial and error, with good ideas built up and bad ones filtered out to get me on my feet. Now that I know how to stand, I can learn how to walk here. Build a routine and pan out a rhythm that I can follow till the end of my days. Wake up, go to school, go to club meetings, eat, do homework, go to sleep. I imagine there's going to be some therapy shoehorned in at inopportune moments, but inconvenience is the spice of life. Am I really prepared to be another cog in the machine, though? Just a boring, gray person working a desk job I hate? Yeah, right. These are my formative years. I'll be damned if I let myself get imprinted with a whole lot of boring. Fran probably knows how to have a good time. Hell fucking yes! Not so sure of Lena. Though, if I get desperate, I could try hanging out with my sisters, but I doubt that'd do wonders for my sex life. Let's not even go there! See, this is what happens when I'm left alone, allowed to think to myself. Don't tell me his sisters are actual routes in this game. If they had a route for one of his sisters, and not freaking Irene, I would be so pissed. Anyway, I haven't really had any alone time, what with the doctors, family, and classes. 5 minutes of me alone with myself and I start resenting everything. When I get back to my room, I decide to start my homework whenever, which is sometime between about 5:30 and the second coming of Jesus. I keep on forgetting that they use that, and that's hilarious. It's unhealthy to let myself get run ragged without having some downtime when I need it. A great philosopher once said, "There's never enough time to do all the nothing you want." I throw myself into my chair, fire up my laptop, and stare blankly at the startup screen, as though I need booting up as much as the machine does. Who am I again? I knew who I was last year, where I belonged. I'm light years away from home in a strange land filled with strange people. I just want to go back to holing up in my room, goofing off on the computer once in a while. How long has it been since this accident? I can't remember them actually specifying that. Was it like a year, 6 months? I don't know. Lena was right about amnesia being versatile. It surely would have made adjusting to a new life a lot easier. I absentmindedly click around the screen before opening up a web browser. Dude, if I were you, I would hang out with Lena all the fucking time. I absentmindedly click around the... I absentmindedly click around the screen before opening up a web browser. The bookmarks menu is full of landmarks from a past life, and I'm pretty sure most of them are dead links now. I don't think I've used this machine much at all in nearly a year. Spending quality time with myself has me testing the school server bandwidth limits and content filters. I know what you mean. A little escapism never hurt anyone. Ellipses. Introspectives can get messy. What's happening in the outside world? A cursory search of private gymnasiums in Dubna drew out a sanitized webpage alongside perfectly forgettable social media profiles of alumni organizations and online catalogs. I've seen this website before, but I never really took in any of the information here. It's nice and polite. It's like having the world's best bowl of oatmeal for breakfast. Nothing worth getting excited over. There's a small news section that seems to be updated every month with success stories, inspirational quotes, and school news. Just under a small goodbye written for a retiring teacher is an announcement that catches my attention. Get ready for this. There's Dimnatag. I mean, if I'm going to go by the way I've been, pronouncing Difna, it would be Difnatag. I like it. Let's do that. I click on the included link and find myself on another part of the school website, this page detailing some sort of festival the school holds each year. It's surprising, honestly. I kind of expected the outside world to want nothing to do with us, but it looks like investors and therapists from other facilities, along with family members, are encouraged to come to this event. I didn't expect that a student body from a school for the impaired would be able to organize a whole gala. Perhaps my sisters would be able to come. I'm sure the two of them would love to see more of the school. Enough goofing off. Maybe there's something school-related I can do online, like sign up for class mailing lists or register for grade tracking accounts. You didn't do that already, dude? It's already your first... What the fuck? I remember when I was in school and motherfucker sent an email like a week before class starts, like, hey, by the way, do this one homework assignment before class starts. And I was like, fuck that shit. And then I came up on the first day of class and he was like, so, who did the homework assignment? And half the class, including me, was like, nope. He was like, you fucking assholes. And, he's actually one of the best professors I've ever had. Everybody hated him except, like, me and a couple of other people. But anyway. I should be able to do stuff like that without any assistance, since I signed up for a school email account when I enrolled. I would hope so. Oh yeah, email. I should probably check mine. Mr. Wilhelm, I understand that you are joining our community a touch late in the semester. Please let me extend a warm welcome and an open invitation to drop by the counseling offices anytime. Under normal circumstances, we would have had an opportunity to meet for a more formal welcome before school classes had begun. This meeting allows me to get to know new students and address any concern they may have. I apologize for missing this opportunity in your case, but I would like to make it up to you as soon as possible. Please stop by my office Wednesday at 3:45 if you are able. I look forward to seeing you, Dr. Faber. I remember the Doctor in Katawa Shoujo was really cool. He was like one of my favorite characters. And he also looked like a Pokemon trainer for some reason. I don't know, I think it was his hair. Anyway, Dr. Siegfried Schultz Faber, MB, Chief Counselor, Privet Gymnasium, St. Dibna, etc., etc. I get the idea. You know you're an important person when your signature goes on for 6 lines. Oh my god, I hate that shit. Like, my signature at work is like 4 lines plus a logo, and it's like, do I really need all that shit? I sit back and wonder whether I'm supposed to click the reply button. I'm sure he'll expect me unless I outright tell him not to, and I get the distinct impression that turning down this little offer of his will be more trouble than the alternative. The last thing I need is to add antisocial or problems with authority to my extensive dossier. I type out a quick, sure thing, back to Faber in response, just in case he needs confirmation from me. After a moment's consideration, I add, I appreciate your consideration, and hit send. It's always tough figuring out how formal to be with psychiatrists. Closing the laptop, I reviewed the day's events. Wasn't too bad, I have to say. Sure, the students are weird, but they aren't crazy. Well, most of them aren't crazy, of the ones I've met so far. And no one is strapping me to a table yet. All things considered, I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic. Dude, most of the people we met were pretty freaking awesome. Dude, Fran, I would hang out with any day. Lena, I would hang out with every day if I had the option to. Natalia was funny. Sophia was, she was alright. Katja was fascinating. I would love to, just sit down and just have any sort of conversation with her because she makes anything sound interesting. Shy girl, take it at whatever pace that she wants because obviously you don't want to rush that shit. Anyway. Nah. My thoughts are interrupted by my phone on the desk, the default ringtone I hadn't bothered to change. Why? I make my own ringtones. I look at the number displayed almost as an afterthought as I reach for it, and my hand stops. Gustav. A second ring jolts me from my stunned stupor, and I grab the phone, my thumb hovering over the cheerful green accept graphic, which now dominates my vision. I haven't talked to him since the accident. My leg pulses in time with my heartbeat as though I needed a reminding of our last meeting. Okay, so I remember that this was in the demo. This was the previous thing where Gustav tried to call was not in the demo. So I'm interested to see how this changed, despite the fact that I can't remember any of the dialogue from that. Why is he calling now? What time zone is he in? I bet he heard about my new accommodations. He's probably trying to be encouraging, great guy that he is. A third ring. My window is narrowing and I'm no closer to a decision than when this started. I'm not ready for this. This is too sudden, damn it. I'm trying to be a better person, sure, but it's day one and you're going to spring this on me out of nowhere? A fourth ring. Last chance. It's just a stupid phone call, not the Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. I shouldn't be like this. I should just pick up the phone and say, what, hi? I can't act like everything's fine. Look where I am, damn it. The phone finally goes dark. I release a breath I didn't realize I was holding, dropping the phone like a hot coal while my voicemail lies to Gustav about my availability. Please, God, don't leave a message. This is already bad enough without some Schrodinger's cat of familial guilt taking up residence in my inbox. Oh, I like that a lot. A few minutes pass in heavy silence, and there's no new notifications. Starting the year off right, aren't we, Eric? What the fucking time is it? It's 8:39. 8:39. Not as good as 69, but you can't have that in a fucking time, because time is a construct of man that's only from 0 to 60 minutes and seconds. The probability of you being born was around 1 in 400 trillion. What the fuck does that even mean? What was I talking about? I wake up after what feels like far too much time and too little sleep later, swearing into my pillow and wondering groggily just how many times it's been tonight. Yeah, I know the feeling. I thought the nightmares I'd been having since this whole mess started were beginning to go away, but tonight's really been something else. Do I dare pick up my phone to check the time? Sure. It's not like I really need to know. I know that it's late enough to be bad, if not early enough. Seeing just what time it is exactly would just stress me out. If anything, it'd make it harder to go back to sleep. Make it so I couldn't stop thinking about just how much sleep I've missed. Yep, another... and of course you fucking check. 4:36. The numbers look back at me, calm and defiant, from the blinding blue glow of the screen. There. Happy now, Eric? Now you know exactly in what bad shape you are. I mean, to be fair, once you graduate and get a job, And, you wake up several times during the night and you see, oh, it's only 4 o'clock in the morning where I need to get up at 6. You learn to appreciate the small things a lot more. This is also stupid. I've been rolling around like this for hours now, and I don't feel like I've had a minute of real sleep. Fuck you! I just keep turning around, waking up from nightmare after nightmare, gasping for air through a flood of childish worries and panic. It's probably just the stress. I'm still not used to sleeping in this bed, in this room, with this window, and this closet, and this ceiling. And it's been so long since I've had to fall asleep the night before a school day. It's not bad or scary so much as strange. At least it shouldn't be. I think back to the email I read before going to sleep. Dr. Faber wanted to have a meeting with me to get to know me better. He's going to be my counselor for the rest of the year, so I suppose it makes sense. Yeah. I'm going to have a regular, expert counselor. I'm going to meet him 3 times a week, and he's going to frown and nod and tell me to think logically about things while I tell him about my fears. That is, of course, assuming he doesn't just give up on me. Come on, dude. Maybe this really is more than just what I'd like to think of as run-of-the-mill first week at a new boarding school kind of mess. Seriously, dude, do you really think that you're the worst he's ever seen? You've never been in the psychiatric ward, have you? You are in for some shit! Anyway, still, one way or another, I need to get some rest. I don't want to make a bad impression before I've even really started my life here. Besides, I might miss something important if I go to my first real day of school tired. I'm too sleepy to think properly, but by this point I'm far too awake to go back to sleep. I just lie in my bed for a few more minutes, face still buried inside my pillow. I'm really sweaty under the sheets. It's not very comfortable. Ellipses, ellipses, ellipses. Oh, sigh. I'm not going to sleep tonight. Today. Is it today already? Pretty sure it is. I'm definitely not going to sleep. I sit up on my bed and stretch my sore arms. What now? School doesn't start for 4 more hours. No point leaving my room just yet. But what point is there to staying? I'm already done unpacking my stuff. I don't have any real homework right now, and even if I did, I'd be too tired to really handle it. My head aches, and my mouth tastes of sleep despite having not gotten any. I'm sweaty, I'm smelly, and my hair probably looks like something a cat threw up. Fucking take a shower. There we go. First order of things should be taking a shower. I pick my glasses up from the nightstand. He has glasses? Gather a new set of clothes and head out. Well, I guess so. I mean, the last time we saw his full sprite, it was, when he woke up in the middle of the night. Okay, cool. I didn't know he had glasses. Did I? I can't remember. What the fuck? A short while later, I'm already dressed up, clean and presentable. Too bad school doesn't start for a while. What exactly am I supposed to do now? Sit in my room and wait? I think the common room's still open, but other than making myself some coffee and sitting down on the couch, I don't know what I'd do there either. I can't turn the television on with everyone still sleeping, and I haven't brought any books to read. This can't be just my problem, right? Someone must have come up with something at some point. My eyes wander quietly over the school grounds past the window. That gives me an idea. Bella never said they locked the dorms down at night, did she? I mean, it makes sense on the one hand, with some students possibly wandering off unsupervised, but on the other hand, didn't I think the same thing about the cafeteria? This isn't a prison. I could go for a stroll outside, get some fresh air, stretch my limbs, get a hang of the surroundings, if nothing else. It'd be just like old times. I should check this out. What do you know? They really do leave the door unlocked. This looks just like the campus from Kato Shoujo. Or does it? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been years since I played that game. Amazing game, by the way. I step outside and take a big breath of the early morning air. It's moist and frigid, so I cough it all back out a second later. But I'll be damned if it doesn't feel good. With everything that happened, it must have been months since I've been outside like this. Not just free to walk around the backyard of some hospital so the doctors can see how long I can manage, but actually out in the open by myself. It's so different out at this hour. You can hear the birds and the breeze so clearly. The faint light gives the dorm the air of a scene from a movie. I still can't believe just how ornate that old building is. I should go on a tour of the city sometime. Viennese architecture is amazing. Right? Close to home, but with just enough unfamiliar flourishes to capture the eye. Whereas I grew up in, one of the most recent states to be acquired by the US, and everything is modern as shit. There's no history whatsoever. The little history that there is just a bunch of ruins from Native American tribes that were slaughtered by the US as they decided to expand their territories. Really fucking depressing. Anyway, I limp leisurely down the path from the courtyard, rubbing my hands together against the cold and trying to take in as much of the surroundings as possible. Sometimes I think I can make out the silhouette of another student passing by, but it's hard to tell in the darkness. It's a pretty crazy picture just imagining it from afar. A bunch of boys in pajamas and school uniforms shambling around aimlessly in the middle of the night, like a scene from a zombie flick. In a different sense, though, it's relaxing. The fact that there are others there means I'm not alone. Sure, I may be weird, but so are they. If you divide it, it's like each one of us is a little less weird on our own. That's actually like one of the best ways to look at it. Exactly. Moving away from the dorms in a wide, winding circle through the campus, I eventually make my way nearly to the school building's doors before turning back. As I'm about to begin walking, though, my attention is caught by a familiar sound, making me freeze in place. Is it third best girl? Second, third best girl? I don't know. I mean, where does she rank? There's Lena, there's Irene. But Irene doesn't have a root. She doesn't count. Fran, I don't think she has a root either. So, yeah, I guess she's second best girl. Sounding clearly in the empty air is a soft, melodious humming. Not the same, but vaguely similar to the one I've heard yesterday. I turn around slowly to find the source. It's faint, but given that I'm hearing it at all, how far could it be? A few steps past the school corner, I find what I've been looking for. Hell yeah! Hell fucking yeah! One of the best girls in this game. Not just because she has, plot, but because, she's just an extremely interesting person. Katja, the girl with the eye patch from yesterday, is leaning lazily against a garden terrace wall, staring at the ragged horizon stretching behind the lake and humming to herself. She's way louder about it than she was yesterday, sometimes nearly opening her mouth and spelling out words. Maybe she doesn't think there's anyone around. I move more closely. Good morning, Eric. She's not even looking my way. Morning? I'm so sorry. I didn't think you saw me. I didn't think I'd meet you here. What are you doing here? Taking a walk. I do believe this came up in our talk yesterday. How about you? Not working on your stealth skills, I suppose. I hope. Stealth 2. My blind side's the whole other way. I like her. I like her a lot. Have you decided to try out my idea? Well, no, not specifically. I just thought I'd go out or something, explore around a little bit, breathe some air, cool my head. Maybe it had something to do with what you said yesterday, I don't know. Back of my mind or something. I see. That's good to hear. How do you like it so far? It's nice, actually. Really beautiful place when you don't have to think about making it to dinner on time. Crazy cold, though. Try putting on something next time. The winter uniform is a lot fancier than it is warm. Maybe an undershirt? I guess you learn something new every day. You mind if I join you there? It feels weird to be standing like this. Not at all. Be my guest. She moves a step to the right, and I carefully move in beside her, resting my leg against the wall and hoping I don't look weird standing. I would love to meet the author of her character arc and just, see where he got his inspiration from. He or she, whatever. I know it's hypocritical after I've spent half of our last meeting staring her in the eye, but that just makes me feel more self-conscious about it. I don't want her to see me stumbling. After a momentary silence, she turns back to me and speaks. Are you still having trouble sleeping? More or less. I'm pretty sure it's just the stress keeping me up. I gave up on trying at some point and thought I'd try a different approach. She nods, stifling a little chuckle. A wise move. You'll do yourself much better that way. Sleep is important, but there's no forcing it when it doesn't come. Are you talking from experience? Mine and others, actually. Almost every student I've ever met here has had trouble sleeping at some point. Insomnia can be a symptom of any number of problems, and the few times it isn't, it could still be a side effect of your medicines. Oh. I never thought about it like that. I knew I saw some others while walking here. Probably not even all of them. As you've so keenly mentioned yourself, it's a little bit cold. Most of the ones who are up already are probably staying inside. Can't say I blame them. Her face lights up in a mischievous smile. You could still go back if you want to. It's not like I was expecting there to be anyone I could talk to. Maybe you'll catch a couple more hours of sleep. Go on, I won't be angry. Just leave me here all by myself with the crickets, nothing but the sound of my heartbeat and the sorrowful wail of the wind to remind me that I'm still alive. All alone in the dark and the cold, not a soul in the world I could possibly pour my heart out to. Forever to keep all thoughts and the feeling I'm having right now on my mind. Go ahead, go back to sleep, dream of whatever you like, wake up, go to school, maybe find another pretty lady to talk to in the small hours of the morning. Maybe you'll never have to think back to this moment and wonder, what if? Okay, fine. I'll stay with you, fuck. Talk about a hard bargain. Dude. I just love how irreverent so many of these people are. I mean, even Katja, who's obviously very... I don't want to judge her too much, but she seems like she's not as grounded as a lot of people. So hearing that kind of sarcasm and that kind of humor coming from her is just really... It's something really special, you know? Talk about an easy sale. Speaking of which, I think you still owe me lunch from our last meeting. What? Lunch, the meal between breakfast and dinner, usually eaten at midday. I know what lunch is. Then you've recognized I gave up on mine yesterday so I could talk with you. It'd have been rude otherwise. Rude? How did it have been rude? People can talk over food. Katja looks at me like I've suggested we take our clothes off. Not like that. You needed a proper seating and plates and some drinks to go with it all. You can't just have any kind of talk you want at any time. That's completely inappropriate. Dude, fucking ask her out on a date. She is totally coming on to you. But I was eating the whole time yesterday. I know! How awful is that? Good thing I'm willing to let bygones be bygones, you fucking barbarian. How does... Kaiserschmarrn? How does Kaiserschmarrn sound? I probably shouldn't have any, but this is a treat, isn't it? With raisins and plums and some applesauce on the side. Dude, fucking ask her out on a date. That would be amazing. It should be alright on the weekend. That's good? Oh, you are so fucking dense. Wonderful. All's well that ends well. Don't worry too much about it. We can settle your debts at a later date. She uses the same formal tone to say it, that she did while introducing herself, but her expression is far more relaxed now. I think it's safe to assume that she's joking. And you know what? For a quiet moment out here, standing back and talking about nothing with somebody friendly, I don't even mind. I'll buy them lunch. So what do you usually do out here when you're up? Depends on how long I've been up. Mostly I'm happy just walking and thinking. It's a pretty underrated activity. If I wake up early enough, like today, I like to go here and wait for the sun to rise. It's gorgeous, if the weather is right. As if to make a point, she lifts her sleeve slightly and takes a quick glance at her watch. Does she have bandages on her wrists? Does she have bandages on her wrists? I want to know that really badly. Checking how much time we got. Wouldn't want to miss it. Huh, I know the feeling. Really? Yeah, I'm actually really into... I used to... standing outside in that pitch blackness, shivering in clothes, looking towards the horizon like we're expecting something other than the very definition of regular. It reminds me of all those early mornings in Grindelwald or Freiburg, back when Gustav and I went out camping. I'd make a challenge out of trying to wake up before him. Never made it work, no matter what I tried, and if I ever went to sleep, he'd be sitting nearby as soon as I've opened my eyes, already fiddling with the burner and brewing coffee. Brewing coffee. I'm pretty sure he was doing it on purpose. The point is, I like that kind of thing, you know? Obviously no. I mean, not specifically the waiting for the sun thing, more of a general outdoors thing. Hiking, trekking, mountain climbing, geography too. A veritable adventurer. I guess you could say that. An impish glint flares in Katja's eyes. Is that so? Yeah, I mean, not on like a professional level or anything, as a hobby. Don't quiz me. I see. Okay then. How about you tell me something I don't know about geography? No! What, like a challenge? If you'd like to call it that. Why? Would it be a challenge? Oh, damn! She's cold. She's cold as ice. Oh, you did not just say that. You better prepare yourself. Okay, how about this? Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa. Do you take me for an ignoramus, sir? I know that much. Sure, just getting started. So like I said, it's the highest mountain in Africa. That makes it one of the seven summits, which is a list of the highest mountains on each continent. It's a bit less than 6 kilometers above sea level, which makes it the fourth on that one, right behind Mount McKinley in North America. It's located in the northeast end of Tanzania, near Moshi. It's a dormant 3-cone stratovolcano, and the cones are called Kiba, Mwanzi, and Shira. The actual summit, that's the highest point on the entire mountain, is called Uhuru Peak, and it's found around what is technically the crater of the Kiba cone. The word Kilimanjaro comes from the regional word for white, since it snows on it during the rainy season. It's like one of those places where you don't really have a winter and summer, just dry and wet. So far so good? The look on Katja's face is absolutely priceless. It's only once I give it some thought that it dawns on me that I've been grinning like an idiot half the time. It might not be the prettiest or cheeriest smile I've had, but it's so genuine. It feels so real. I didn't have to force it. It feels so good to do that again. I don't even remember when the last time I did was. Whatever. It's proud. It's exciting. It makes my stomach turn, but in a good way. I don't want to stop now. I want to keep doing this for as long as Katja would let me. So how was it so far? Is there more? Man, I could keep going for hours. So hear me out. The two most famous routes to the summit are called Marangu and Machame. But to most climbers, they're Coca-Cola and whiskey. The idea is that whiskey is for more experienced types, while Coca-Cola is for beginners. Fair enough. In practice, though, it may not be that much easier since it has a way shorter acclimatization period. So the start is milder, but then you end up with breathing difficulties. I'm only 4 drinks in, right? Shit. Now, whiskey, on the other hand, takes about a week to climb up, and the only reason I know that is because until just a couple months ago, I'd planned on one day making it. I had a stupid, childish dream of making it, me and Gustav, all the way up to the summit. Didn't know when I'd get around to it, just that I would. It felt certain, and it was certain that Gustav would be there with me. It feels so infantile thinking about it right now. Like a child dreaming about what they're going to be when they grow up, and thinking they'll be an astronaut or a president. Hell, the way I am now, this is just as silly as if I'd wish to grow up to be a dinosaur. It's meaningless. It's all completely, absolutely meaningless. I let my back sink a bit down the wall. I shift my weight a little bit to the side, trying to calm down, and then catch myself by holding the wall back with one hand. My leg feels like it's made of insects. For a moment, it was like I'd completely forgotten about it. Now it's gone. Katja stands wordlessly, waiting for me to continue speaking. It takes me a while to realize that her eyes are fixed on my leg. How long has it been this way? I begin moving it on instinct, but then it occurs to me that if she really did somehow notice my limp in the minute or two that or so we were both standing, trying to hide it now would only just make it worse. She opens her mouth to speak, and I brace myself. Goodness, do I know someone you'll get along with just fine? I look up to see if she's kidding. Her smile is as honest as ever. Dude, Katja is so fucking cool. No hint of pity, no disgust, not even confusion. I try to respond, but my throat suddenly feels like I've swallowed an entire sea sponge. I know the feeling, dude. What, they're into African trivia or something? Something like that. I don't know how to respond to this. The tight feeling in my stomach is beginning to fade away. My muscles are still all wound up, and I feel like I'm about to fall. But other than that, it's fine. Could it be that she hadn't noticed at all? Carefully, not to let go of the chance, I start slightly pushing myself up the terrace wall. If I do this correctly, it won't even look like Please don't. It's nothing that you should be ashamed of. I know. I just didn't think you've... She lets out a dry, bitter laugh and raises a finger to point towards her own face. Don't you think I know a thing or two about that? You happen to be talking to a bit of an expert here. At least you could probably fake walking right now if you put enough effort into it. My choice mostly comes down to whether to rip off the eye patch, and it's not like that make me stand out less. And let me tell you, it's amazing how fast the novelty wears off of having guys looking at your face for a change. Yeah, I can see that. It's just that I thought I was doing fine. I could hear you coming from behind the corner. You have a gate. I guess I do. And my point is that I don't mind it, and neither does anyone I can think of that you might be like talking to. She takes another look at her watch. When she looks back up, it's with a face as cheerful as if the subject's never changed. That was pretty impressive. I didn't know most of it. It's good for you to have something that you're so passionate about. I may not know as much as you about Africa, but I think I might get why you'd like strolling around like that. I used to like going on walks too. Vienna isn't quite a mountaineering challenge, but it does have some beautiful parks. Of course, lately I've been forced to make do with lawns around here. I'll give it to the faculty, the garden is magnificent considering the circumstances. Have you been to the city of Vienna yet? The city proper, that is, not the school that's technically in it. Just a little bit. I spent a while there before moving in. Why? I think you might enjoy it. Think of it as like the school here, but with more people, better shopping, less fences. I'll keep it in mind. For now, though, I should probably start looking into other things to do. Let's face it, I'm not doing any hiking anytime soon. Fuck. I looked into join the newspaper club. Do you know a girl named Lena Forst? You could say that. I did hear something about a new applicant. Oh, okay. Wait, what? This is giving me flashbacks from yesterday's dinner. Why would you hear about that? Who talks about this kind of thing? This is a high school, Eric. She raises her eyebrows as if daring me to challenge that answer, but she's right. Fair enough. How about you? In terms of hobbies, I mean. Hobbies, extracurricular activities. Avocations. Right. She's so hot. Right, I already told you mine, so it's only fair that you tell me a little about yours, isn't it? What do you like to do in your spare time? There's a demure smile on her lips, but between the puffed-out chest and the proud glint in her eyes, she's not fooling anyone. I sing. Oh, like in a band or something? A band? Is that the kind of impression I've been making this whole time? I sing in the school choir. I suppose that does make a lot of sense. It explained the humming, and she definitely has the voice for that. That does sound a lot more like you. Is there anywhere I could hear you perform? She blinks an eye in thought. Well, we do have the holiday coming up. The choir will be participating both in the opening event and the gala, so I suppose I'll be spending most of the next 2 weeks somewhere around the chapel. It's where the choir practices. Sounds like a solid plan if I ever run out of stuff to do. I've been wanting to check out the chapel anyway. I'll be sure to give you a visit sometime. I mean, if that's alright. I wait for an answer, but none comes. Given that we were just talking, it takes me an embarrassing long time to realize that Katja's fallen completely silent. Following her gaze towards the lake, I can make out the first glimmers of the sunrise behind the mountains in the horizon. Hey, she raises one hand for silence. Hold on, man. We've waited here all this time. Let's not miss the moment. Bookmarking my thought, I turn my attention to the growing dawn. Above us, the deep purple of the night sky is gradually giving way to a paler shade of blue. I glance aside to Katja to say something, but she looks like she isn't with me any longer. For all of how involved she's been so far, now she just stands there, enraptured. I gotta say, she is one of the most fascinating characters in this entire game. And not just because of the plot, but because she's just a genuinely interesting character. The way that they've written her. She's enigmatic, she's mysterious, but she's also obviously intellectual. And, even if she, does, nitpick things that are said, she's just a very deep thinker, and I would love to get to know her better. Anyway, then again, after all this gushing about mountains and sunrises I've done, it's not like I got any right to talk. At first, it doesn't look like there's much to see at all. The harder I squint, though, and the more I look at it, the brighter the picture becomes. First, the patch of light rising behind the mountains, surrounding a cold, near colorless sun. Then, with every passing second, more and more rays break through and against the thin clouds. When they hit the water just right, you can actually see the reflection of it shining on the far side of the lake. Hilda used to say that it looks like the water's on fire, back when the entire family went walking together. Beatrice said it looked like a family, like paint spilling. Looking higher up to the sky encourages my recollection. Once you've stretched your neck far enough, you can't see the mountains. It's the same old purple and blue whether you're in Switzerland or in Austria. I briefly wonder whether Katja's having as contemplative a moment as me. Dude, she's Katja. Of course she's like freaking thinking into the freaking deep universe and shit. Soon enough, though, the light just gets too bright to look at. My eyes are burning by the time I realize that, and for a good half minute after I take off my glasses to rub them, all I can see is dancing blotches of green and purple. Thank you, you are as dumb as a fucking caveman. No, I'm kidding. I like Eric a lot as a protagonist. When my vision clears, Katja's already stopped staring, having since moved to checking her watch with a very busied expression. So, was it worth not going back to sleep? She lifts her face back to look at me. Oh! We have a choice! We have a fucking choice! Hell yeah! Fuck yeah! Woo! Oh. Like, if I were in that situation, obviously, the significance of the sunrise isn't lost on me because it just makes you lost in it, but to be perfectly honest, the biggest comfort of this entire experience was talking to Katja. So, yeah, I'm going to that. It was. This whole conversation was just what I needed to cheer me up. Wouldn't have believed that I'd say that an hour ago, but yeah, it was really worth it. I honestly can't remember the last time I did something like that. It brings back so many memories from before. Got me thinking about all sorts of stuff. What's a few hours of sleep compared to that? That's the spirit. Wouldn't be a mountaineer without it. You won't get anywhere nice if you're not willing to risk hypothermia. That was actually fairly innocuous? Vague. It wasn't really, leaning towards either of the answers that it was given, which is interesting. I wonder if the dialogue would have actually changed if I picked the other option. Katja nods in bemused approval. I think I've made a good impression on her. Kinda makes me want to... Hey, I hope it doesn't sound too weird, but I mean, thanks. For having this whole conversation... Oh, okay, there it is. for having this whole conversation with me. Just standing here and listening and being all nice and stuff while I'm talking your ear off about mountains. Sometimes just having company can make all the difference. Doesn't even matter what you do with it. Not that the sunrise wasn't great, obviously. You're welcome. It's nice to know that I've helped. Do you do this every day? No, I specifically said that I didn't. You should probably find a backup plan for passing the time. Just on the off chance you're bored one of these days and I can't be there to assist. But I doubt that would be a problem. You've already made other friends, I'm sure. Hell fucking yeah, I have! I'll leave convincing them to go out with you in the morning to talk about mountains to your enterprise and acumen. Yeah, that might take some figuring out. I'll come up with something eventually. Then you'll be alright. It's like you said, the company is what really does it. Some mornings, coming out here can be lonely. Sometimes there's nobody friendly. It's not always bad, but it's different. It sure isn't always as enjoyable as this one. Glad that I wasn't a bother. I step forward from the wall and stretch up my arms with a tired sigh that evolves halfway through to a yawn. I'm going to feel like a dump by dinner, but screw that. This was a pretty great time. Hell fucking yeah! I mean, you spent it with one of the most interesting people that, you could ever meet anywhere. And like, dude, why the fuck? Dude. This is amazing. I should definitely keep this in mind for the next time something like this happens. Katja or not Katja. I feel more alive now than I felt in a while. You want to head over for breakfast in a couple of minutes? Thank you, but I'm going to have to decline. I need to do a few things before classes start, and I'd really prefer not to be late. Okay, good luck with whatever it is. It was really good talking to you. The pleasure was mine. See you around. I'm about to come up with something to say, but by the time I've opened my mouth, she's already given another one of her bows and made off. She moves fast for a choir girl. As for myself, I'm going to give the cafeteria another check. Or at least the vending machine. This might turn out to be an okay day despite the nightmares. So, like, oh, wow! Okay, so yeah, it is totally going beyond the freaking, the demo. Awesome, love it, hell yeah. Dude, what the fuck was I about to say? Okay, so, like, emotionally, like, I'm feeling most attached to Katja. Just because she's just such an interesting freaking person. And, like, every conversation that you have with her is just fascinating, and it's like, I want to know more about this person. Just the way her mind works, however it is, it's beautiful in the complexity of it, and how she just challenges every, like, social norm, kind of. But it's not like Fran, where she's just, she's just trolling you, but she's honestly just like provoking thought with every single thing that she says. And it's just so fascinating and so thoughtful, every conversation that you have with her. So, like, emotionally, I am totally, like, on the, like, with Katja, 100%. In terms of just, who I think is the baddest bitch in the land, like, Lena is amazing. Lena is such a freaking cool character. I so hope I get to know more about her in this playthrough, in this, act. Because, personality-wise, she's the most appealing to me just because she's such a freaking badass, and she has such an extremely, eccentric and irreverent sense of humor that even goes beyond Fran. Like, Fran is teasing and stuff, and that's hilarious. But Lena is so far beyond that, to the point where she's like, yeah, you think I'm fucking crazy? I'll show you crazy, That's great. I love it. I love it so much, because it's like, if you're gonna be in a situation like this, why not embrace the stigma? Why not, incorporate that into your persona and be like, hey, if you can't deal with this shit, fuck off, right? I really enjoy that about her, because, in the real world, you can't really do that, And I love to, you know, make jokes about mental illness, about bipolar, and, you know, just make light of my situation because it helps me cope with the fucking bullshit I have to deal with, you know, my brain going, hey, by the way, you're gonna kill yourself, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, oh, wow. I can't even say who's best waifu at this point. Like, I thought that Lena was from the demo, but playing this again, like, Katja is just such a fascinating character. I don't know, man. They're both so great. They're both so amazing. I need another drink for this. Holy fucking shit. Maybe I'll cut it here. Ah, fuck that shit. I've only had, like, what, 4 drinks? Fuck that shit. I can do another, right? You know, I'm gonna stop recording.